Almost all programming languages, and JavaScript is not an exception, have functions. And functions allow you to reuse same block of statements multiple times. And functions could perform either some actions or return some values, or both, perform some actions and return values. Let's start with declaration of the function. In JavaScript there is a special keyword called function. Next will be name of the function, and let's name it fn. Afterwards there is pair of parentheses like that, and pair of curly braces. This part is called function body, and inside of the function body you could write any JavaScript statements. This part is called parameters section, and you could specify one or several parameters for any function. Now this function doesn't have any parameters. And basically now, after this function is already declared, we could call it. Let's call it underneath like that, fn and pair of parentheses like that. Let's save changes, and now in the console I see nothing, I see empty output. And the reason for that is that this function at the moment doesn't perform any actions. And also we don't print to the console result of this function call. But what if I use console statement here, like that, and call function inside? In such case I will print result of this function call to the console. Let's save changes now, and now in the console I see undefined. And that's that value that any function returns by default. I told you before that function call is actually an expression. So here is expression. And any expression is evaluated to a particular value. And that's what we see here. By default, such empty function returns undefined. And that's why we could use function call anywhere where JavaScript expects an expression, like for example here. So, also here you see that we called function fn multiple times, on this line and on this line. And you could call any function any times you want, like that. And each time function will be called again. And obviously in this example we see same results on both lines, because now fn returns undefined in all cases, no matter how we call this function. It doesn't have any parameters and it doesn't have any statements inside. So now let's add return statement and return something from this function. There is special keyword return, like that. You could return anything you want. For example, you could return string abc, or you could return number 10, or you could return array, or you could return an object, or another function. Anything you want. Let's return, for example, number 10 like that, and see what will be changed here. And now here on those lines, as a result of those function calls here and here, I see 10. Because now this function fn returns number 10. Let's return empty array instead of number 10 like that, and now I see empty array as a result of both function calls here. Also, as I've told you before, any function could perform some actions. For instance, let's remove this line from here and let's print to the console result of the call to the date function like that. Let's save changes, and now I get in the console 3 outputs of current date, because I called function fn 3 times, here, here and here. But I removed return statement, and that's why I again get undefined as a result of function call. But function itself performs some actions. Of course, if you want, you could perform both some actions in the JavaScript function and also return result. Let's do that in following way. Let's declare a new variable inside of the function using const, and let's name it date, and its value will be result of the call to the date function like that. Now let's print to the console date, like that, and also let's return date. I recommend to you to add empty line before each return statement in order to clearly see what function actually returns. Let's now remove this line in order to remove all duplicate function calls, and let's leave only single console log statement like that. And let's save changes. And now here I see result of this console log statement, and also next to it I see result of this console log statement, because now fn function returns date. It prints date to the console and also returns date. Let's return, for example, number 10, and now I'll clearly see difference here. On this line, we print to the console date, this variable, and we return number 10.